sector and how it's performed vis-a-vis the earnings. But let's get you an ET Now exclusive. And we understand that JSW Paints has signed an exclusivity pact with Akzo Nobel for the decoratives Dulux Paints business. Anurag Joshi, my colleague, is here with more details. Anurag?
JSW Paints is in an exclusivity pact with Akzo Nobel, the Dutch paints giant, for the possible purchase of the decorative paints business, which is the Dulux brand in India. Now, this exclusivity pact gives JSW Group an edge over the other rivals in the transactions, which are Indigo Paints, which is one of the key paint makers in India, and that's tied up with Advent International, which is the private equity player. And then there's another bidder, Pidilite Industries. Now all the bidders, JSW, Advent, Indigo and Pidilite, they all have binding agreements signed for the deal. Now, just to give you some kind of a background, in February, the Akzo Nobel NV, which is the Dutch parent, they had made an offer to acquire the powder coating operations, and that also includes the industrial business of the Indian unit. So, and they transferred the power coating operations and the research to the Indian subsidiary. Now, this rejig helps the Indian unit to be sold to a successful bidder whenever the deal concludes. Now, this transaction has been going since last year, and in the past, the bidders who have looked at this asset have included private equity firms like Blackstone.
All right, thank you so much for that, Anurag, for getting us those details on the Akzo JSW Paints story. Coming to you, actually, Jonathan, what's your view on the paint sector, given the fact that there's competition and only rising competition that has impacted all these legacy players, the likes of Asian Paints, or for the matter of fact, Berger Paint? We've seen that also impact in their earnings. What's your take now going forward? Would you go ahead and bet on the space?
Yeah, I think the situation in India is more complicated than I think outside India, where we've seen a lot of consolidation. Clearly, the likes of Asian Paints historically had fantastic margins, huge market share. And obviously, as you rightly point out, we've got a lot more competition entering the space to start chasing some of that. I think there's good structural growth in the space. It is an interesting space, but it isn't great when you see a lot of competition coming into the space. And that just obviously doesn't help margins. So I think in the short term, probably it is still a bit stressed, but obviously if this deal that we've just talked about goes ahead, then that's potentially the first steps in a little bit of consolidation. But for the moment, probably too much competition, margin pressure from various factors. So probably one to sort of avoid in the very short term.